Hello, you guys. We are so excited to come to you today with one of our favorite and actually our first client, Joanne. Joanne has come back and done a couple of trips with us. Most recently, she just got back from a cross-country trip in Canada.
Yes. And our goal today is to kind of review how her trip went. We have had a lot of clients ask us what is included on train travel, specifically this rail line. And yeah, no, it still exists and it's a great experience. It's a great way to see multiple parts. In this case, Canada. There are some itineraries that are in the US along the Rockies and whatnot, and we'll get into that later. So Joanne, thank you for taking a minute.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, first thing we want to talk about is how was your overall experience? And just to give people a little bit of an insight, they started in Vancouver, Canada. They had a couple nights there, and then they went on a 2-night train ride, headed east all the way up to Calgary, and they made stops in Banff, which looks amazing. Lake Louise, Banff National Park. If you haven't heard of it, look it up.
Yes.
It looks great. I mean,
Yes.
It's just huge landscape. It's a national park. It looks amazing. And then they ended in Toronto there. So tell us a little bit about the trip.
Yeah. So like you said, we started in Vancouver and it was just red carpet all the way. We did the Gold Leaf, which I'd highly recommend. Just a lot of nice things with that. The food cart was on the first floor. We were on the second floor. The glass ceiling was amazing. They also had an open area for us to walk and be outside, and the weather was just gorgeous. So it was 250 miles a day, but it doesn't go fast, but it's fast enough where, you get some distance, but it's slow enough where you could get some really good videos and sights in. And all the workers on our train, there were 5 gals. They were amazing with their stories, personal stories, and just their humor and their knowledge. And you can just tell they love what they do. The food was awesome. With the Gold Leaf, you get lunch and breakfast and then drinks. Did have a few drinks. They were really nice. And the food was always good, like I said. But it was nice. I get really antsy, so it was nice because I could move around, and half the cart would eat and the other half would have the whole upstairs, and we could walk around and stretch our legs. And so that was really nice. So everywhere we went, I mean, they would wave us goodbye, all the Rocky Mountain employees, and then they greet us wherever we landed. And then we had just a shuttle everywhere we went to the hotels, and that was really nice. We didn't have to think of anything like that. They were so helpful, and the sites were beautiful, and always let us know where we're getting up to so we wouldn't miss it. And lots of eating, which I like. And the hotels were great. All the transfers, always meeting in the lobby. Everybody in the lobby knew who Mountaineer was and where you need to be. Don't worry, you won't miss anything. Because, me and my friend are like, oh, we don't want to miss it. And we didn't miss it. We were nervous and stuff, but our itinerary was perfect. Our app was perfect. We just worry, you know what I mean? Just little ladies. But anyway, we never missed anything or felt like we were going to miss it. Everyone always took care of us. They would announce things, and so you could never miss it. I mean, it's always, or you see people that are on the train and you help each other out. We're meeting over here, or they said they'll be right back. And so everyone was so friendly. So that was always really nice. All of those door to door, they put your luggage in your room. It was so fancy. And our rooms were gorgeous at all the hotels. The weather, I said, was gorgeous, and walking around the area outside of the hotel, like we explore, and it was just fun, just trying different restaurants and different sites was beautiful. And Calvary and Banff was gorgeous. And the tour guides in Banff, he was amazing. He was from New Zealand. He was cute as a button, and he was so passionate about everything. It was really cool, but he was really chill, which was really cool. But just meeting everyone and just moving along the whole country, it was just really cool. Toronto was really cool. In Niagara, we really enjoyed.
One of the conversations we had with you guys when we were in the planning stage was really the difference between the silver leaf and the gold leaf. And that is one question a lot of people ask.
Sure.
And I know that you had mentioned a couple of distinct differences that you noticed on the trip. Could you tell us a little bit about those?
So even when we spoke to people that were in the Silverleaf, they're like, we couldn't get up. I believe they have the really nice chairs, the recliner chairs with the heater, that they got to sit in, but they couldn't move around unless they were getting up to the restroom. And
Okay.
so they had to sit, and they didn't have that open area. They couldn't go from the top of the train to the bottom of the train. And that's only because I spoke to someone and they said, gold leaf, you do the gold, I was like, you better do the gold leaf. Everyone on the train would do the gold leaf. I mean, because that's a perk. If you can't sit there for that long, it's hard. I mean, I'm sure the workers on the train were just as lovely, but not being able to move around was probably hard. And they eat at their seat too. I think we had a little tray on the side that we could put up and down. That's probably what they had to eat on. So it was just, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like we were splurging. It was Angela's 60th birthday and it was worth every penny for us. So
For those that are watching, what Joanne is referring to is when you reserve your spot on this train, you can choose from either a gold leaf or silver leaf option. The gold leaf is kind of just a notch above. You have this gold dome viewing compared to just windows on the side, kind of enhances your experience.
it
You
does.
also have a separate dining area, and a lot of your accommodations that you're staying at are going to be a little bit better as far as number of stars and just overall experience. There's just some benefits and amenities that you get when you opt for the gold leaf. I'm just scrolling through. We're sharing our screen here just to give people a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. One question I had for you that we never really spoke on. I'm just going to play this video while we talk so people have
Okay.
an idea what it looks like.
Okay.
We've been on trains. I know you obviously just came back from one. How did you feel? Did it feel bumpy? Is it very smooth? Were there parts that were
No,
different?
it was probably like being on a plane, kind of, sometimes you hit turbulence or a little bit of turbulence, but nothing where you felt afraid. We had to go kind of down a spiral stairwell, and there's handrails on both sides, and there's also like this elevator there was someone on our train that had a walker, so he was put up and down off on that, so someone in a wheelchair could definitely be accommodated as well.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. I don't know, it was just comfortable. I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't getting motion sick or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, no, no,
Our
no.
experience was the same. Alden gets very, very motion sick,
Yeah.
but he
Oh,
didn't at
okay.
all when we did a train ride. So just that's also another question people ask is those that get worried about motion sickness.
I don't think so. I mean, nothing seemed like startling or anything. Sometimes we had to stop completely because a train was coming from the other direction and the way the tracks are, and then we got to wave to the other Rocky Mountaineer train coming. They'd be like, "It's the Rocky Mountaineer train coming." We're like, "Okay," so we all waved, which was cool. They get really excited to wave to their coworkers, I guess, and it was fun. And everybody waves. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Like, I
Including
couldn't tell the
Doris.
camera. What?
Including Doris.
Yes, Doris. Did you get to see that video yet?
Yeah.
We did.
Oh, you
Doris,
did? I didn't see it. It's the cutest story. I haven't seen it yet, but
I'll let
it's
Joanne go into
so
it, but
cute.
Doris is a lady who resides near one of the tracks, and she waves at the train staff pretty much every day or every time there's a train. And
For
from what-
years.
I mean, they reached out to her, didn't they?
They did. Some of the workers went to her door and they're like, "Hi, we're from the Rocky Mountaineer." She's like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they said, "We want to pay for you to come on the train." This lady had never left her little town, small little town, and just religiously going out there and wave. She knows, and I think her dog knew when the train was coming too. For some reason, it has some sort of a sound from the train. Anyway, but she's like, "Sure." And then I guess the big wigs at Rocky Mountaineer found out, and they said that we'll pay, because the workers were going to pay, and they said, "No, we're going to pay." And they're like, "Okay, cool." So they figured it all out, and then her and her husband got to take the train. They flew them wherever they had to go, and then for 13 or 18 of the Rocky Mountaineer employees went to her doorstep. So when the train went by, they waved to her, which was so cute. I thought that was the cutest thing. I mean, it was just like, really, like, the little things like that, like, That's
It just
perfect.
enhances the experience
It
so much
does.
when you
It's so
have,
personal.
yes, these
Yeah.
types of relationships.
Yeah. Mhm.
We are sharing a screen. This is an example of the itinerary that
Yep.
we had made up for Joanne. On the left side are day by day. We have a lot of pre-trip items that we review. There were things that they, they had to log in and get their profile set up, make sure their, all their names and IDs were all checked out. Everything was good. We gave it an idea of what to expect for weather. It sounds like they went at a great time, early June and springtime up in Canada. The Canadian Rockies is a great time. We have their flight information as well, what to expect there. And then I headed down over by the hotel just to give them an idea of what the accommodations were. How were the accommodations? So people have asked us, do I sleep on the train? This rail line, you do not. So you're on the train throughout the entire day, and then each evening or night you stay at a hotel. What was what was that experience like? Not only the hotel, but getting in and out of there and back onto the train for the next day.
It was super easy. They transferred us from the train to the hotel door to door, and they put our luggage in our room before we got there. I don't think the luggage was ever on the train. I don't know how it beat us always, but it was always there. So I was like, okay, I've never had that service, and it was nice. It was easy. Then they would tell us what time in the morning we had to meet up, and we'd all go meet up and lobby, and you could see us all gathering, and our luggage had to be ready at our door at a certain time, and they would take it whatever time that was, and they would take it from our room. And we were usually already had left, but I mean, they needed it early sometimes, but we were heading out early, which we didn't mind. It was beautiful.
Love it.
Didn't want to be in the room.
A couple of extra excursions too. So with the Rocky Mountaineer, you had the train, but then we customized your itinerary to add in some extra excursions, day at Lake Louise, Lake Banff. You guys even were able to do I'm thinking Toronto.
Niagara.
Yes, I'm sorry, Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls.
So we were able to add in a few of personalized options. How about the gondola ride? You guys did a gondola too.
That was pretty cool. It was really fast too. Like they're really like the charter bus that dropped us off and drove us. They're like, okay, our ride's at this time, so get there. Like they're very efficient. Like you get on and you get off, and you have plenty of time on the observation deck. We didn't walk too far. There was a lot of animals up there. I think it was a ram. Was that a ram?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 3. Someone said there were 5, but we only saw 3 total. But it was beautiful. I have a great panoramic picture, and it was just beautiful because you could see Banff on one side, and then on the other side you could see, I can't even name, all the mountains have a name, but there were so many I couldn't remember. Like Cathedral was one I remembered the name of, because that one people can climb without a rope. I mean, that was just such cool information.
I love it. You did see some wildlife while on
we
the train.
did. Yeah.
You guys saw bears
a couple
too.
times. And eagles, a lot of eagles. And my Angela's like a bird lover, and she used to volunteer at a bird refuge or whatever. But anyway, she could spot them out. And then they would educate you on what to look for to spot them out too. And a lot of, I forget what those endangered birds are. They're really, really big, and they make really big nests that are like 4 feet long. Anyway, those nests were everywhere.
Eagles.
No, the other one, I don't remember the name of it. They're just these big older birds that are there's not many left in the US, but I've never seen that many bald eagles in the US. They're all up in Canada.
Yeah.
They were super cool.
Love it. Our Canadian friends, anyone that we mentioned, this trip and this stretch that you were going through, they had nothing but good things to say. Just showing an example here, when you book an excursion on something like this trip or any trip, we try to put all the information on there, your depart time, what to
Yep.
expect, whether you should bring food, you know, how
Yep.
long you're going to have at each stop. It's just a good way to maximize your time. Some place like Banff specifically is massive. And so having an excursion with a guide who is from the area and knows,
Yep.
you know, get all the good viewing in before the end of your trip. It's just a good way to go. Again, this is just something that's getting on my bucket list. I don't want to be jumping like that guy, but you know,
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
it was. It
beautiful
totally,
landscape.
those pictures don't even give it justice, but it is that intensely beautiful. The
Your
blues
guys'
and the,
pictures and videos were absolutely amazing.
yeah, it was
looked like a
fun.
beautiful time of year.
Mm-hmm.
The
Hey,
one
I
thing
was gonna say some of the national parks you can't go in with your car. You have to go in with like a tour bus or a guide. I don't know if that's limited for limited parking reasons, or to keep the traffic down. But that's the only way you could, like Lake Marion, that's the only way you could get in there. Marion, yeah.
yeah, no, I love it. No, it's an additional cost, but if you think about it, if you're there all day and you don't have to worry about parking and you have someone that's,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
can give it's
Won't
just a
get
great
lost.
resource. It's definitely the way to go here.
Mhm.
So again, these are just some items that we had in their itinerary.
We
And
always like to add some extra information, things to do, popular spots, local recommendations, food, drink, otherwise. So just part of our process when we go through and really personalize this to each person that is working with us on planning a vacation.
one thing I wanted to mention, people might say, well, you know, is there any in the States that are going in the States? And they do have one here. It goes from Denver, and it's a 2-day train ride. It goes from Denver to Moab. I'm just playing this video just to give you an idea. Again, looks amazing. A lot of people that we know, they'll do a pre-train trip, you know, 1 or 2 nights in Denver, and then a couple in Moab, so they can enjoy all, you know, everything Moab in that area. So, you know, a week you can really cover a lot of ground, which is just a nice way to go. So that's just one example of what they have. Like I said, I know they're always trying to add. This is just growing. It's getting more and more in demand. Like I said, people didn't know that this kind of travel existed. You see it in Europe all the time. That's kind of a life out in Europe. Trains are the norm, but train travel in the States is something I hope it comes back. I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun.
It definitely seems to be there. You know, there's development of one in Mexico as well.
Yep.
So it is making a comeback, which is really awesome. We did get the opportunity in Europe to do a train as well, which was amazing. And it was a really affordable way to get around.
It is.
That was a lot of what we had talked with you and Ange about when we were in the planning stages. Is you guys were looking to go across Canada, and we're like, what's the best way you can do that, get the best experience, see the most, and do it in a way that's comfortable, it makes sense for you,
and you won't get lost.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
I mean, it's okay to get lost sometimes,
like,
but
you don't want to do flight after flight after flight, you know. So
yeah, it was comfortable, it was enjoyable. I totally recommend it. I've talked to so many people about it and been showing pictures and getting them excited and saying, bring your parents. I mean, we were the youngest, and everyone was so fun, but Ange and I were the youngest on the train, and everyone was wonderful. They were from all over the world, and just, I love that. It was really fun hearing, you know, people, they're on whatever, their retirement or just a birthday gift, or because of COVID, they were waiting to celebrate something, or just they travel, you know, seasonally, and they've been wanting to do this. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I would have traveled more.
And you guys were doing a special occasion. It was a girlfriend's 60th birthday, and if I remember correctly, they made that very special for her too.
And every hotel had something nice for her, like a card, a cake, a free treat at the hotel restaurant. Like she kept forgetting, and she'd send me a picture because we had separate rooms, and I'm like, why are you getting? I didn't get that in my room. She's like, it's my birthday. Which was really, really nice, really sweet. I'm like, we're going to pull out the sombrero soon, I told her.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. One thing I wanted to mention to people just when this is something you can do year round. I will mention that they do book out pretty far in advance. And another thing too is pricing is in part based on weather. If you do this in the middle of January, it might be a lower cost versus if you did it in the spring.
Or summer was high.
Or summer as well.
Oh yeah, it's
There's
popular.
just a higher demand in the summer, and you're just going to see a lot. The weather's going to be better. You're probably going to see a lot more.
Yeah.
A better
We
experience.
literally went at the perfect time because, like, literally 2 weeks before we got there, there was the roads were still not drivable,
Yeah.
especially up to like Lake Marion and Lake Louise. They literally had just cleared it, and then temperature wise, I was perfect. I always get cold, and then the seasonal time was like a week or two out, and I was like, "Ooh, we missed everybody." So the timing we picked was just perfect. Like weather-wise, not too many people. Everything was clear, so we didn't have to miss because of the snow, which was nice. We still got to see it. It's still melting.
First week in June, so it was it was
The
16.
Second to the 10th.
And as far, but I mean, weather-wise, it was what, 60s?
No, the 40s and the 50s. I thought it was going to be in the 60s, which was crazy because it was over 50 degrees colder than Arizona. But I was fine. I wore layers. I had to take my jacket off a lot. It was windy a little bit a few times, thankfully, because I don't like the wind. But and a little bit, of course, when the sun goes down. But when we'd be walking around,
now is on the sun.
Triple digits, yeah. Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I always get cold. I was scared, but it was funny, like how I was so comfortable, which was awesome because that really ruins it if I'm freezing. I was prepared. I mean, I had layers in my jacket but I had to take off layers, which is not normal for me.
No, we appreciate you sharing your experience with us so much. I know this is going to help so many people that are thinking about the Rocky Mountaineer.
Oh yeah.
I did want to ask you any advice or tips you would give to anybody that is looking to plan a Rocky Mountaineer trip.
I don't know. I don't know. I really liked planning it a year in advance, and we were able to pay it in a few chunks, which was nice. So the only money I needed on the trip was dinners mostly, and then anything that I bought. So that for me is a big tip, that when you go, it's already paid for, it's already done, and you get everything that's included that you're already aware of because your itinerary. So I would think that's a good tip to share. That's important to me. So
yeah. Earlier you mentioned, there was a big difference between gold and silver. If you can swing the gold, do that. We're not just saying that. You just have a lot
better experience.
Better experience.
If you paid in 3 trunks, it's just a different experience where you don't have to worry, and it's more comfortable. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just worth it.
Love it.
Yeah. And my final question, Joanne, where are you off to next?
Oh, I know. I keep telling my family. Well, I keep seeing your Mediterranean cruise. I think I'm trying to get another friend to, maybe we could do it together.